Hello Movie Mavens! Welcome back to another video on the B Movies channel. My name is Bailey and I put the B in movies. So I hope you're all having a wonderful November. Thanksgiving somehow is only, 2 weeks from yesterday? That's crazy. So yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope all of you have a lot to be thankful for. I know that I do. And we have some really good content from this week to talk about. We're going to do some deep dives on my favorite Thanksgiving episodes of shows, as well as some of my Stranger Things theories for season 5. Because for those who don't know, this has been officially confirmed by the Duffer Brothers that this upcoming season is going to be the last season, not so much with Hawkins, but with this specific arc. They have talked about that this will continue. I foresee it kind of being like an anthology series where Hawkins is the mecca of things, or we'll get into my theories in a minute on how I think this last season may tie into the whole anthology idea. So let's go ahead and just jump right into our blog roundup. If you're new here, we post blogs over on bmovies.blog Monday through Friday. And so in these videos, we just do a little bit of a blog roundup. We also post daily on our Instagram, which is just at bmovies channel, same as our YouTube. We do daily posts, and you can find links to those posts in our story. We also keep the B Movies blog linked in our bio at all times. So this week, on Monday, we talked about my favorite Thanksgiving episodes, which, like I said, we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive there today, talk about those, talk about why I enjoy those episodes. On Tuesday, we had a Reese Witherspoon spotlight. I love Reese Witherspoon. She's one of those actresses, it's like Sarah Michelle Gellar, where I just have kind of grown up with her movies, from everything from Legally Blonde to Election to later on Penelope, Big Little Lies, Sweet Home Alabama. She's just been one of those actresses that I've followed ever since she started. Obviously, she started acting before I became a big movie buff / I think kind of before I was born. But, with Cruel Intentions being one of my favorite movies and just her movies being on constant rotation in my house, I really, really like her work. On Wednesday, we talked about destination horror. I thought it was something funny just to kind of bring up at this time of the year, because I know a lot of you are probably traveling for the holidays or starting to travel for the holidays, and so I just thought it would be funny to talk about destination horror and just embed that little chip in the back of your mind on things that could happen. And for this round of destination horror, we actually have a couple different rounds of, I guess it would be considered destination horror, transportation horror coming up. But for this round, we're talking about island, like a deceitfully beautiful, peaceful island destination horror. And so I'm really excited, and I hope that you read that, and if you haven't yet, definitely check it out. Yesterday we talked about You've Got Mail. You've Got Mail is one of my favorite. It's a fall movie I watch every single year. There's just something about it that's charming. There are a couple things in it that are obviously outdated because it's from the 90s, but as it's controversial, but as someone who is not a fan of Sleepless in Seattle, for some reason, I don't like it. I am glad that at least I have You Got Mail to get that Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan charm. And then today, we're talking about Stranger Things, because somehow, in the almost year, which, let that sink in, y'all, we started the B Movies blog almost a year ago, which is crazy to me. We've never talked about Stranger Things, which is a little nuts, because I love Stranger Things. I have a wall in my kitchen because I have several of the vinyl soundtracks. I have a wall in my kitchen that's like the Stranger Things mural, basically. And so I wanted to finally give Stranger Things its own piece, because somehow we have made it this far and I've not talked about it. So, just to recap, this week on the B Movies blog, you have my favorite Thanksgiving episodes, Reese Witherspoon, Destination Horror, You've Got Mail, and Stranger Things. So the next piece of business that we have, for those who don't know, We do what we call bite-sized Sundays. They are Instagram exclusive reviews, meaning they just live on the Instagram. They do not go on the bmovies blog. And every Sunday, I choose a piece of content, be it a movie, a series. I've done a music video before, and we just talk about it. And it's not necessarily, I don't have enough to say for a full piece, because when I talk about things, I like to have at least a page of content. But they're things that I enjoyed or I didn't enjoy, and I just want to share my opinion about them. So this week, the hint, which you can only get the hints here on YouTube, the hint is getting stuck at school for the holidays can be a real pain. So that is my hint for this upcoming Bite-Sized Sunday. So keep your eyes peeled on the feed. And again, be sure to follow us over on Instagram to get those Bite-Sized Sunday reviews. So I think that all of the housekeeping should be out of the way. So let's go ahead and get into our deep dives for today's episode. So the first deep dive are my favorite Thanksgiving episodes. And I am one of those people, decoration-wise. I do like Halloween and then Thanksgiving and then Christmas. This year, since I was sick and I feel like I was robbed of some days of Halloween, I went straight decorating-wise from Halloween to Christmas. I know, shame on me. But I do value Thanksgiving content. I do value Thanksgiving as a holiday. I have watched the Macy's Day Parade. I think I've missed one in my 31 years of life. I watch it every single year. I really like Thanksgiving. I obviously don't like how Thanksgiving came to be. And if you are not aware of how bad our history is, and how horrible we were to Indigenous people, please educate yourself, because it's not good. But I do value Thanksgiving content. I don't just skip it, even though a lot of people go straight from Halloween to Christmas. And again, decoration-wise, I did the same this year. I was like, there are so many terrible things in the world, and I was robbed of a few days of my favorite month because I was sick. And so I just kept out my Halloween decorations a week longer, and I am decorated for Christmas, and I will not apologize. So, to top off, I've kind of categorized our Thanksgiving episodes into 3 big categories. So you have the one-off episodes, which are, throughout the entire series, this was the only Thanksgiving episode that they did. And then you have a sprinkling, which means they have 2, maybe 3 episodes, but again, not a lot. And then you have the heavy hitters, which are, we'll get into it, but they're the ones who do annual Thanksgiving episodes, or have at least 5 Thanksgiving episodes throughout the course of the series. And I also have a couple honorable mentions because they aren't episodes, but they're the same length as episodes, and they're just specials. And you could probably, if you've read the blog, you know what they are, but you could probably guess. So let's start off with our little one-off episodes. So the first up is As Told by Ginger, 10 Chairs. And if you didn't watch As Told by Ginger, it has such a special place in my heart. I would probably consider it one of my favorite animated series of all time, because it has that tinge of heightened reality in it, or unreality, but there's still so much good content. And the episode when she writes the poem that's a metaphor for depression, oh my god, it's so good. And the episodes that really get me in As Told by Ginger in particular are the ones about she and Carl's dad, because their parents are divorced and her dad has been a big absentee father. And so in the Thanksgiving episode, she, unbeknownst to her mom, invites Jonah, I think it's Jonas, maybe Jonas. It's Jonas or Jonah, to their Thanksgiving. And it's just, this episode and the Christmas episode too are both extremely powerful. If you have any issues, parental issues, it will definitely punch you in the gut. But I think it's so wonderfully done. And again, this show will just always have such a special place in my heart, because Ginger was a writer, I was a writer and journaler. I've been writing ever since I could hold a gel pen. And so I just love this show. So next up we have Full House, which this always shocks me that Full House only has 1 Thanksgiving episode. It's not one I watch necessarily every year, but it's just one that I will pop on in the background, or if it's on reruns, or, if I just need some background noise, like I said, I'll pop it on. But I just think it's surprising that there's only one, and it just really hits you in that sitcom nostalgia. So yeah, that's all. I don't have a lot to say about the Full House episode, but it's surprisingly the only one that they did, which is kind of wild to me. Next up, we have Gilmore Girls: A Deep Fried Korean Thanksgiving. So I would argue season 3, I would argue, is one of the best seasons of Gilmore Girls overall, like as a whole. And the one thing about Gilmore Girls I will say, even though there's only one devoted Thanksgiving episode, which is a great episode, it's a great episode. If you haven't seen it, it's Lorelai and Rory have to commit to like 4 Thanksgivings. And so it just shows all the different parts of their lives and how they weave together. But overall, the show just has a fall vibe to it. So as y'all know, we've talked about this before. I start a rewatch every September and I finish it at the end of November. And so this is just the show overall, because it has such a fall vibe to it. Any episode of Gilmore Girls can really be thrown onto this list just because that's the vibe and the tonality of the show. So that is A Deep Fried Korean Thanksgiving. Next up, we have Hey Arnold. And Hey Arnold, first of all, it's such a good show overall, and it falls into that same cluster with like Election, The Adventures of Pete and Pete, everything we talked about last week, where it can't be replicated. Like, this is such a specific piece of the zeitgeist, it can't be replicated. And I will say, the Hey Arnold specials, like the Arnold's Halloween, Arnold's Thanksgiving, and Arnold's Christmas, especially Arnold's Christmas, woof, and we'll talk about it next month, but the holiday specials get me. Like, between this episode and especially Arnold's Christmas, I am destroyed but touched, and they're just, the Craig Bartlett and the Hey Arnold crew just has this really, really wonderful way of encapsulating the touching and heartbreaking pieces of the holiday season. They just do. And so Arnold's Thanksgiving is no exception. It's an annual rewatch for me. Hey Arnold is one of those shows, too, that I can just pop on in the background. I love it. We know I love cartoons. I just love it. So the next up on the list, so this is another surprising one, that the OC only has one Thanksgiving episode. I can see why they did it, because they do the annual Christmaka episodes, but the OC only has one episode that's Thanksgiving themed called Homecoming. I can't get started about the OC because I won't be able to stop. I love this show. I didn't watch the OC until 2014. My internet went out in a crazy 11-day issue, and one of my friends gave me the box set, and the rest is history. I love this show. I can rewatch it like nobody's business. I watch the Christmaka episodes every year as well. And don't worry, I'm cooking up a whole piece that's just dedicated to the OC. If you haven't listened to the Rewatch podcast with Rachel Bilson and Melinda Clark, it's great. But this is just another fun one, because the OC is such a meta teen drama that this episode is really no exception. So next up, we have like the sprinklings, and we only have 2 big shows here to talk about, and those are Boy Meets World and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And so Boy Meets World, you have the Turkey Day and the Chasing Angela episodes. I'm surprised as well that Boy Meets World only ever did 2 Thanksgiving episodes, but they're both really good, and I think that with this and Fresh Prince, it's almost like a quality over quantity thing, and I think that that's probably a reoccurring theme for some of these shows, because Thanksgiving is such... It's a big holiday here in the U.S. If you're not from the U.S., you're probably even wondering, like, why this is such a big deal. But it's such a big deal in the U.S. that I think shows either wanted to put all into a couple episodes, or they, like with, we'll get into How I Met Your Mother and things, where they could add, like, overarching themes in. And so I think that just for some of these, it was a quality over quantity issue. Um, so yeah, for Boy Meets World, same thing with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We have Talking Turkey, and then we have There's the Rub parts 1 and 2. Same thing. It's kind of surprising to me because I feel like Thanksgiving is such a rich sitcom holiday, and we'll see that in a second with some of the other shows that we've picked for the annual episodes. But again, I can see the mentality of quality over quantity, or it just not fitting into the storyline. I get it. So next we have the heavy hitters, and these are Bob's Burgers, Friends, How I Met Your Mother, and New Girl. And up top, rest in peace, Matthew Perry. He was hysterical. I know that he had a lot of struggles. I need to read his memoir. But just R.I.P. Matthew Perry, that's so sad. I was at Dismember the Alamo when the news broke, and so I got out and I was like, wait, what? And it was just heartbreaking. So just rest in peace, Matthew Perry. But out of Bob's Burgers, Friends, How I Met Your Mother, New Girl, we all know who the winner and the master of the Thanksgiving episodes is. It's clearly Bob's Burgers. The Thanksgiving episodes, Dawn of the Peck especially, is one of my favorite episodes of Bob's Burgers of all time. I think they have mastered the Halloween specials, the Thanksgiving specials, the Christmas, just the holiday specials in general. That crew has mastered them. And another one, God Rest Ye, Merry Gentle Mannequin, is another one of my favorite episodes of Bob's Burgers. That crew, kudos. You have mastered the holiday episode. I know Friends and How I Met Your Mother have not aged well. Fully understand that. Keep that in mind while watching. How I Met Your Mother, I think the slaps-giving, overarching storyline is genius. Friends and How I Met Your Mother are essentially the same show. I'll say it. But I do think that the slaps-giving, having that carry through multiple seasons, I think that that's genius. I do. I will say that's great writing. And there's some really good writing in How I Met Your Mother. It's sad that a lot of it does not age well. And that a lot of choices were made that I even when it came out, I don't know why that was made. But like the episode where Marshall's dad dies, there's so many good writing elements in it. And so that's why it upsets me that some of the decisions were made for the show. Because there are times that are really hard it's hard to watch. Because it's so offensive or just grody decisions were made. So those are the episodes. I have a full list. I wasn't going to go episode by episode for the heavy hitters just because, like Bob's Burgers, I think there are 7 or 8 right now. Friends, there's like 8 or 9 because they did one every single year. How I Met Your Mother, there's 6 or 7. New Girl, there's 4 or 5. So check out the full list over on bmovies.blog, and I will link it in the list below, in the description box below. I'm listing so many things. The list is just stuck in my mind. But I'll link the blog in the description box below. So next up, let's talk about Stranger Things. And I was going back and forth on how to do this deep dive. And I decided, instead of deep diving into the piece overall, because we know Stranger Things, it's been going on for several years. We don't even know when season 5 is going to come out. But I want to dig into some theories I have for season 5 and the finale, instead of diving into what I did in the piece. So, some of these may hurt. I may be completely wrong. This is solely off of what we've gotten so far and some things the Duffer Brothers have said / some rumors that I've seen. So first and foremost, I guess we're just going to start the heavy. I think Will's going to die. I think he's going to overextend himself in his connection to the Upside Down, and I think that he will sacrifice himself for his friends. He may even sacrifice himself for Mike specifically. However, I think we're definitely going to lose more major characters than Will. The Duffer Brothers have alluded to there being more deaths in the upcoming season. I could also, and this does break my heart too, I could also see them killing off either Hopper or Joyce, leaving the other one to watch and to care for the kids. I could see that. I also think we may lose Steve or Robin. I think because in just shows and sitcoms, you have those pairings, right? They pair off on who works. It's like when you think of Boy Meets World, Eric and Mr. Feeney, Corey and Sean, you have those pairs that play off of one another. And so I think what I foresee happening is some of these pairs not making it. And so since you have Steve and Robin, who play off of each other very well, I could see one of them losing. And I think a big thing that I think is going to happen this season is a lot of sacrifices and a lot of martyrdom is what I can see happening. I'm just bracing myself because the Duffer Brothers have flat out said there are going to be more deaths in the next season. I think the one that I would, if I had to choose one, I think Will. I do. I think because it would be cyclical and it would kind of bookend the series because he, goes missing in season 1. That's what I think. Secondly, I really like this theory that I've seen. And again, I have nothing, please know, I have no additional knowledge outside of what y'all do, and some of y'all may even know more than I do. I really like the theory about Eddie, which is that he's not dead. I'm like, florals for spring, groundbreaking. But in D&D, there's allegedly, I've never played D&D personally. I've watched it played. I listened to the Adventure Zone. I've watched Smosh did their D&D campaign, Sword AF. I'm familiar with a lot of the inner workings of D&D, but I've personally never played. So that I may be telling tales out of school here. But in D&D, there's allegedly a half bat, half humanoid creature who double crosses Vecna in order to save everybody. And I really hope this is Eddie, and I really hope this is the direction that they're going, is that he's that half bat, half humanoid. I really don't want them to leave our boy like this, but again, we don't know. But that's a theory that I've seen that I really, really like, because it would also make sense with him being specifically attacked by the bats. Thirdly, and this may be a little bit of a wacky one, I think Eleven's going to lose her powers. I think she'll be fighting side by side and overextending herself like Will to defeat the big bads. And I think her powers are going to go away, or at the least be significantly weakened. And I think that we kind of owe that to her because she's been through so much. I think we kind of owe her some normalcy. And I think, just kind of maybe like the end of the craft where they don't have powers. Except for Sarah. I think she will lose her powers. Fully. If not fully, I think they will be significantly weakened. Fourthly, I don't think Max is going to be in a lot of this season. They've put her on ice. I think they may thaw her towards the end of the finale, which for those who don't know, because I found out apparently this is one of those things, sometimes I'm bad about just thinking everybody knows, like, everything that I do about pop culture, which, I know an insane amount, and spend an insane amount of time talking about it, but when they put a character on ice, it means that they don't kill off the character, but they put them in a coma, have them move away, have them go off to college, so they can bring that character back if they want to. Like, another example is if you've seen Scream 6, how Gale they put Gale on ice. She didn't die by Ghostface, but she's in critical condition. And so they can pull those characters out again if they want to, but they don't have to be a main part of the ongoing storyline. And so since Max is on ice, I don't think she's going to be in a lot of this season. I think she may come out towards the finale, but I don't think Max is going to be a key character within this season. I could totally be wrong. But see, Sadie Sink is also, she did Fear Street, she did The Whale, she's been doing a lot of films and a lot of content, so I don't even know scheduling-wise how that's going to work. But I don't think Max is going to be in a lot of this season. That's just me. I love Max's character, don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't like her character, but I think she was put on ice for a specific reason, and I don't think she's going to be very visible this season. Lastly, I think all of Hawkins is going to have to band together to defeat the big bad. And I'm thinking something like Halloween Kills, where they all come together to defeat the big bad. And I think that's going to be the segue for the anthology series that the Duffer Brothers have mentioned. And I believe that they have said no new characters. And I don't think we're going to get a lot of info about these characters, but I think we may see more townspeople, and there may be, like, in the finale, like a post-credits scene where we are introduced to somebody, or, you know, there are other rumblings. But I think that's how the segue is going to go, is I think at this point, Hawkins is being ripped apart, and I think it's going to take more than our group of beloved characters to defeat it. So, those are my theories for season 5. Again, I have no intel. This is all internet stuff I've seen. This is just just some hypotheses based on what has happened so far. I think we need to be very prepared because I think we're going to lose a lot of people. But that's where I stand on everything right now. So I just thought I would share with all of you for season 5, since we were talking about Stranger Things, just kind of some assumptions. We will obviously, once the new season comes out, once, you know, SAG-AFTRA is paid fairly, and if AMPTP can quit all their BS, you know, I'm willing to wait however long it takes to make sure everyone is paid fairly and that no one is replaced by AI, because I think what the AMPTP is trying to do is awful. We're willing to wait as long as it takes, but when that season does come out, we'll talk about it, and we can revisit this video and see what I was right about, what I was wrong about, so on and so forth. So, just to wrap it up, follow me on Instagram at Lisa_Frankenstein_. Follow Elliot at reading.with.red. Follow us, just at bmovies channel on Instagram. Same as our YouTube channel. Be sure you can read all of these blogs over on bmovies.blog, and I will link the Stranger Things piece and the Thanksgiving episodes piece in the description box below. And also, everything I say here at the end, that is also always in the description box below. So if you forget our handles, aren't sure where to look, everything is right down in that description box below. Be sure to turn on all notifications. I don't think I've said this enough, but if you're subscribed, be sure to click the bell and turn on all, because personalized won't always directly notify you when a new video is up. So be sure to turn on all notifications. Please subscribe if you aren't. Please like. Leave a comment. We love seeing comments. And I think with that, all that's left to do is fade to black.